Hi, and welcome back to From a Woman to a Leader. And this is one of the solo episodes where I take the conversation I had with this week's guest and share my own take on it. And today I want to talk about three things that are all tangled together. What is success? What is failure? And how do we face rejection? And what is success really? I mean, when I think about a successful person, or you think about a successful person, what comes to mind? Usually, it's someone who is already making a lot of money. That person have a company, maybe they have multiple companies, maybe they took it public, and we look at them and think, now that is a successful person. But we almost never look at what it took them to get there. And my guest this week, Naama, said something that really stayed with me. She said she has read a lot of autobiographies of successful entrepreneurs, and almost all of them share the same thing. Around 90% of the path was failure. And that kind of makes me ask, what is success really? Is it about the perseverance? Is it about facing the hard things and learning how to fail so that one day you can succeed? When you look at someone, how do you measure their success? Do you measure it only by outcome or by the whole journey it took them to get there? Naama said something that really kind of triggered me in the episode. She said, I strive to be a successful entrepreneur. I'm not a successful entrepreneur yet. And I told her I disagreed. I told her the way I see it, she already is. The reason for that is because I don't measure success only by the outcome. I measure it by the process. To me, Naama is successful because she had an idea about those dissolvable packaging. She went all in to make it real. So she co-founded a company. She built a product. And it's already gaining interest. And to me, this is success. Success is choosing your passion. It's going after it, actually implementing it, persevering through the rejections along the way. I'm not measuring her by whether she raised a huge amount of money or took the company public. I hope she does. I hope she does succeed. And honestly, I believe she will. But do we measure her success only by the outcome of the company or by the journey she's making as an entrepreneur right now? And for me, absolutely, it is the journey. And I want to share something also about my personal life with my kids, right? I mean, the school system, unfortunately, really look at success from a very single point of view. You learn, you do a test, and the result of the test tells you if you succeeded or failed. And that can be really devastating for kids. And I encourage my kids, obviously, to learn, to study hard, and to use their full potential. But what if they fail? And this is what I believe in and what I encourage my kids to do. I tell them, as long as you did your best, you learn from your mistakes, you're trying to improve, this is success to me. It doesn't matter if you fail the test. It matters what have you learned from it. What are you willing to do in order to succeed? And yes, I'll share that sometimes it doesn't work out. My kids, each one of them, sometimes failed the test, maybe changed a major in high school. But that's okay. They learn from the failures of what they're passionate about, what they think they can do, what they're willing to invest in, and they moved on. So failure and rejections, in my opinion, are part of success, and we cannot detach them from it. Naama in the episode this week also talked about how she faces rejection. And this part was so good for me to hear and very inspiring. She has actually a rejection folder, a literal folder. And when she gets a no from an investor, she just files the email in that folder and moves on and keep working. And she told me she measures herself by how hard she works, not by whether she got rejected. And first of all, I really admire her, and I think we all have to make peace with it. Rejection is part of everyone's story. All of us fail. All of us get rejections all the time. And the people who look successful are not the ones who never got rejected. They are the ones who kept going after they did. And I'll share, for my life, my personal life, one of the goals I put for myself is become an international speaker. I do have a lot to share with the world. I enjoy it, and it's good for my personal and professional growth. It's challenging me. And I've been speaking at conferences lately, and one of the conferences was I gave a keynote at DevOps Zurich. And people look at me and say, you are such a successful speaker. You are so inspiring. You are so calm on stage. You have such great energy. And I always appreciate hearing that, and makes me smile. But the thing is that they don't see the path it took me to get there. They don't see the years I dreaded being on stage. They don't see my first talk at a conference, which was terrible. And they don't see all the rejections. And I'll be honest with you, I get a ton of them all the time. Just lately, there were several conferences they said no to me, at least 5. And think about it. For every one talk I actually give, there could be 5 or even 10 rejections behind it. But you only see the one where I'm standing on the stage and you think, she's a successful speaker. You do not see the journey from the day I decided I wanted to become an international speaker all the way to the moment I actually stood up there. Success to me is not an act of standing on the stage. It is the whole journey it took to get there. And there's one more piece I'm still working on myself, and this is asking for help. I'm good at helping other people. I'm not always good at asking for help, because it can feel like admitting I do not have it all figured out. But Naama said something that challenged me. She said that if you ask for help, 99% of the time, the person in front of you will say yes. And, the women that I coach who grow the fastest are almost always the ones who ask. So that is part of the journey too. Not try to do it all alone. And here is what I want to leave you with today. When you look at yourself right now, do not measure yourself only by where you are today against your goals, your aspirations. Measure yourself by the journey, by the perseverance, by the lessons you have learned, by the rejections you got along the way, and how you got back up. You already are successful. Just pursuing your passion, by going after what you want, by not giving up. If this resonated, I would like to hear from you. What does success look like to you right now if you took the outcome out of it? Send me a message. I read every single one of them. And if you haven't heard my conversation with Naama, go listen to that one next. And I'll share something kind of embarrassing that happened to me when I recorded the episode with Naama. Actually, when we recorded at the Google for Startups campus in Tel Aviv. And the video stopped after about 9 minutes, stopped recording. Luckily, the audio did record, and I was so embarrassed, right? I mean, I'm a professional podcast host. How come I messed up like that? And I apologized several times to Naama, and I said, listen, I mean, I really want to make up to you. Let's record another episode. And she was so nice about it. She said, no problem. We scheduled and re-recorded a second episode. But I said to her, it will be boring just to say the same things again. Let's record an episode on a different topic. So actually next week I have another episode with Naama. So 2 weeks in a row, this incredible young entrepreneur, incredible episodes. And, I really enjoyed speaking with her. It was real pleasure. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.